Hi, I'm Mike Collins, and I'm a successful private label marketer, and I got some secrets that I'd like to share with you. But why should you listen to me? Before we go any further, let me just give you a little brief background about me, and then I'll tell you some secrets. Well, first of all, I've been in advertising and marketing sales for 30 plus years, and I've done everything you can imagine from in advertising, from radio, print, TV commercials, you name it. But one thing I've always been doing is solving problems for people when it comes to marketing. And several years ago, in 1999, I decided that I wanted to give up that life of just the heavy advertising business. It was real hardcore, and I decided I want to get out of it. So I went into looking for something that was more of a lifestyle business. And a lifestyle business online was possible. I didn't really know how, but I knew it was possible because I could work from home. So that was the attraction back in 1999. I didn't realize that the attraction would be so much grander, so much bigger. The fact that you can have any lifestyle you want is just simply amazing. So it's not just an opportunity, it is kind of the norm to go out and want to work online now in this day and age. But private label marketers, they're coming from so many different areas, and often it's very difficult to get started. And I became successful several years ago as a third-party seller on Amazon, as well as various e-com sites. And I had someone come to me and they said, "Hey Mike, I really like to make some extra cash." And they told me their story. He was a young kid, had just graduated college and had an entry-level position at an engineering firm in New York City. And he was living in a one-room apartment with his wife and newborn baby. And he didn't even have enough to cover his student loans. And so he just wanted to make some money to cover his student loans. And so I said, sure, you know what, I'll teach you, I'll train you, I'll mentor you. And I did for several months. And after 8 months, I got a letter from him with a very nice gift. And the letter was just absolutely amazing because he told me that he no longer lived in that one-room apartment, that he now owned his own home. And him and his wife were expecting another child, and they were very, very happy. And he had actually quit the job as an engineer at the beginning of his career because he saw the opportunity was just so huge. And now he's extremely successful. So that got me into mentoring and coaching. So for the past few years, I've been coaching and mentoring, and I've created some wonderful groups of people that I just absolutely adore. I love working with them. A few weeks ago, this is about 3 weeks ago, someone came to me and said, "Mike, in every group, in every form of online marketing, whether it's email marketing or third-party sellers or whatever it is, there's always like an elite. There's always the big dogs, the gurus, the guys that are making all the money, and a lot of people aren't. What is their secrets? There's got to be some sort of secret." And my first response was to, pretty much spit out the canned response. Make sure your images are right and your listings are optimized, all that stuff that's just, normal. But I thought, it's true, and it deserves a real good answer. And I told him, let me do some research, and let me get back to you and tell you what I really think that is. Now, I'm in a unique position where I can look at a lot of different businesses and analyze a lot of different businesses because I own many myself, and I have employees that own businesses, but I have groups that coaching groups where they all own businesses, so I get to see what they're doing. And I've analyzed it, and I found that there are 3 main things that people are making this mistake on. And it's every one of them. Every one of the people that we would call big dogs or gurus, the guys making big money, are all doing these 3 things right where others are missing out. And I'd like to share with you what those 3 things are. And the odd thing is most people would never even notice it. It's one of those subtle type situations where you don't even really know it unless you're looking for it. So let's take a look. Okay, so let's just dive right in and look at what is really holding people back from becoming the top majority, the top performers, whether you want to call them big dogs or gurus or the masters, whatever they are. They're just like you, and they're just doing a couple of things differently. So
We're going to look at the three things. In this first video, I'm going to show you the first one that really makes the difference. All right, now, first of all, before we go any further, I must say that if you are easily offended and where everything must be politically correct, probably now is a good time for you to leave. Because marketing is not politically correct. That's just the way it goes. That's the way it's always going to be. And you just got to go with the flow here. So if you're easily offended, now's probably the time to leave. All right, so let's look at what the first mistake is. The first mistake, in the very simplest of terms, is that people don't know how to talk to their customers. They don't know how to communicate with their customers. Now, that is such a broad term, and you've probably heard it so many times, but let's take a look at it in depth and what that really means. What is it that people are missing in communicating with their buyers or their potential buyers? Well, the first thing is that there is a difference between men and women. Women are like the internet, okay? Their brains are like the internet. You can just keep giving it information, more and more information over and over and over again, and they can absorb it all. Men, they don't, okay? Men are like a bag. They have a brain like a bag. You can only put so much in it before it overflows. You can want to put more in it all you want, but you're not going to, no matter what. It's the way it goes. Men do not behave the same way as women do. They don't think the same. They don't work the same. So why would you market the same to men as you would a woman? Now, just because you're going to market differently doesn't mean that you're marketing what they really hear or what they really want. So how do we do this? Well, first of all, we need to understand that women represent about 85% of consumer shopping, making $4 trillion. That's T with it. Trillion, $4 trillion in purchases per year. Now, that's according to Women's Certified website. So obviously they are a very valuable target to go after, right? So, but men are as well, because they respond very quickly and effectively to simple and short messaging, right? So we're talking about the difference between men and women as far as percentages on who buys, which 85% of the consumer shopping is women. That only leaves 15% for men. Now, we don't want to ignore the men because men are great consumers, but you got to look at them differently. You got to talk to them differently. If you don't, you're not going to convert them. And it's all about conversions. You've got to convert men and women differently. If you try to do it the same or appeal to everybody and be politically correct, you will fail. I promise you, you will. So you have to understand the differences and really speak to the differences. When you look at effective marketing, you have to understand what a man sees and what a woman sees. Now, men, everything's a competition. Believe it or not, everything is a competition when it comes with men. Whether they think it is or not, they really are. They're competing. For example, this is why men are such good targets to market to, because they make buying a competition. Now, nobody knows who the competition is. There's nobody around them. They're sitting there in their easy chair all by themselves, but they're looking for a product online, and they see a few simple things. They see images that are shiny, silver, black, things like that attracts their attention. Those are colors that portray power, like a car engine or whatever, things that are powerful. It also gives the impression of weight. You hand a wrench to a man that weighs a lot, a nice big heavy wrench, he's going to go, "Ooh, wow, yeah, that's a good wrench." Now you can give him some space age aluminum that's super, super light and 1,000 times stronger, and you give that to him, and he's going to hold it in his hand and go, "Oh, junk." Because this power and weight, volume, these are all things that matter to the male brain. So he's going to be looking towards that really heavy duty wrench, right? Price. Now, if you have the type of images that portray what they want, you're bigger, better, heavier, then that's going to appeal to the man. Now, what else is going to appeal to the man is the price. Now, men are more prone to buy something more expensive. So if they see a product that is light and fluffy and flowery and has a low price, it's not going to appeal to them. They see something bold and strong with a higher price, they're thinking, oh, yeah, that's heavier, that's more expensive, that's the best one, I buy it, I win. Now, who they won against, who that competition is, nobody really knows, but there is the competition there. So you can convert higher by having a higher price in many circumstances to men. This can get a larger amount of the marketplace by appealing strictly to men. You might have gone on different websites, Amazon say, and you see that some of the top performing products in certain areas are much more expensive than lower performing products. Why? What's the big difference? How come that one wins? Because a man competed to buy it and he won. He came out victorious and spent more money than he needed to for the exact same product. But that's how they think. Now, often you need to appeal to both men and women, and there's a certain way to do that. But you have to make sure that you're getting both aspects in there and that they don't overlap. For example, women are going to be a lot more detail orientated. Okay, they want to know, they want to be informed. Their brains are like the internet, right? It can soak up all this information. They want to shop around. They like comparisons. They like price value, price versus value, and to get the most value for something. So it may not always be the cheapest, but it'll be the most value. They're looking for that real tangible value. These are things that you have to display. Now, women are more prone to buy things on sale or look for things on sale, while men are prone to buy something that is on sale and they just saw it on sale. So, for example, there could be a widget that sells for $30 retail, and a woman will see it and she may not buy it now, but then she sees it again and she's getting retargeted in her Facebook ad, Facebook ads are popping up and she's seeing that, and then all of a sudden it's on sale. Well, now she's going to buy. A man sees at one time with a sale sign on it, he's just going to buy it. He does not need to be spoken to over and over and over again because the bag fills up and you can't put any more in there. So pay close attention to that. That's vitally important. Now, putting these together, here's an example of how Nike does it, which really works. Speaking to both people at one time. Dominant is a good look for you. Clothes make the man faster. Now, if you think about that, what is the text speaking to in each of the images, right? It makes you more competitive, right? If you're a man, it makes you more competitive. You can run faster. If you're a woman, it is makes you look good, but we don't want to make it sound like it's frilly, so we're saying dominant is a good look for you. So we're empowering the woman and letting her know she looks good doing it. So you're appealing to that aspect. Where the man, he doesn't really care what he looks like. He's more thinking about the performance, how it's going to perform. And Nike has even made a challenge where join the men versus women challenge at NikePlus.com. So they're advertising to both people at once, saying entirely different things. This is what you have to look for. These are the things that you have to look for in everything that you sell on how to make sure that you are speaking to these people. Now, there's a lot of differences between men and women. Let's take what the Nielsen company states. Nielsen, for the TV ratings, they're probably the most up-to-date on advertising. So let's look at what they're saying. The females between ages 13 and 34. Now, this is a very particular demographic. And so this is why, and you'll see in a moment, And we'll talk about it more in other videos about certain demographics. But in this one, for example, 13 to 34 hits a very specific target based on human response. Okay, this isn't fads and fashions. This is human response. So the tonality, the theme, the humor, and the character that you use in your advertising or in your product images or whatever it is that you're putting out there, they should show these differences and appeal to these differences. Now, if it's a product that's just for women, you want to appeal to them. If it's just for men, you appeal to them. If it's for both, you got to make sure that you're appealing to both of them. Sometimes the things don't mix. A great way around this is if you have multiple images for a product that you're selling online, that you create images that are specifically to men or specifically to women. Very important that you define the differences, that you understand, that females ages 13 to 34 respond best to upbeat, aspirational, silly, and those type of situations, and people that are in their same age group, the 13 to 34 age group. All right, and with men, it's more about action. So an action-orientated image is going to work much more better for you. Also, pushing the envelope, extreme. There's, extreme sports are so popular, but even couch potatoes like to feel extreme. So that extreme aspect to it is a very powerful, emotional human response for men between 13 and 34. When it comes to humor, a big difference there is women like silly and playful, offbeat, but not poking fun. They don't like the teasing things the way more men are more prone to tease and stuff like that, and being more sarcastic. So, where you want to appeal to the man, you're a little bit more slapstick, edgy, sarcastic is going to work. Where a woman, it's a little bit more offbeat, but not mean-spirited. So very important there with how you use humor. Because humor, either they laugh or they don't. If they don't, you don't get the sale, right? So you got to make sure that you're using humor properly. And the characters, again, going back to the internet brain versus the male brain. A woman is going to be able to look at a situation and create an entire image in their head that says, I could be her. So you want to make sure that the setting is a pleasing setting, obviously, a happy setting, where a problem has been solved and now they have acquired what they needed to acquire to reach the state of happiness that they wanted to do. All right. Now, a man can't even say all that, as you just saw. They like to see just normal everyday guys with very exaggerated situations. Why? Because that paints the picture. They don't have to paint a picture themselves. They don't have to create the fantasy. The fantasy is created for them. So you want to make sure that you are creating that fantasy for men to see and to experience. And for a woman, you're giving her the opportunity to create the fantasy, letting her know this could be you. All right. So a proper combination of that is going to make a huge difference. Now, this might sound basic, and it is, but the simple fact of the matter is that this is what people are missing. And these are what turn, $20, $30, $50,000 a month accounts into six-figure businesses a month, and seven-figure businesses a month. These are the differences. Once you apply them, you go, wow, I can't believe it made a huge difference. Now, you have to remember that there is also a very big difference between ages, right? The difference between baby boomers, someone born, from 46 to 64 is a baby boomer. And if you compare them to millennium babies, you cannot talk to these people the exact same. And the baby boomers, a lot of them are just overlooked online when it comes to marketing because They think they're old or they're not tech savvy or whatever, and that is just not the case. That's not the case at all. A third of all internet users in America are baby boomers. So that says a lot right there about how many people are using. I mean, how many baby boomers are actually online and buying online. It's astronomical amount. So you have to target these people, and you have to target these people properly. But what matters to a woman that's 34 versus a woman that is 64, the differences are drastic. But not only the differences, it's the experience that they have been through to get where they are to react the way they do. As an example, let's look at advertising. Here's some vintage advertising. Don't worry, darling, you didn't burn the beer. Now, this was meant to get women to buy beer. Ouch. I can't. This would not work today, but it didn't really work back then either. It was all about recognition back then. And this is when advertising was huge and it was competitive, and it was the big thing in the 60s and 70s was being an ad executive. And there was a kind of a glamour that went to it. But the one thing that the ad industry didn't have was women. And I'll point that out here. If we look at this one, Christmas morning, she'll be happier with a Hoover. Yes, because she finally got something to beat you over the head with. If I got my wife a vacuum cleaner for Christmas, I better have bought a tent for myself because I'm definitely going to need it. This is how men thought women responded to things. And this ad was made for a man, but still. Let's look at this one. This goes to prove that there were no women in the ad industry, because it says right here at the top, no wonder you women buy more Tide than any other wash day product. Wow. No wonder you women buy more Tide than any other wash day product. Tide's got women want. No, the reason that the women bought this soap no matter what, it was because it's the only thing available and they didn't want to live in your filth, so they had to clean it up. It wasn't because of your snappy advertising. But there was brand recognition. They were bombarded. And that was the only way that these companies could get sales. There was an explosion in advertising where ads were just bombarding you left and right. TV, radio, billboards, signs, everything. The newspapers were just loaded with them, and it was just coming faster and faster and faster. And these people were bombarded with advertisements. And what did it do? It created nothing more than brand recognition on the positive side. But on the negative side, it created a stigma in the advertising industry that they have never been able to recover from. And that is, consumers do not trust advertisers. And that cannot be said any stronger for the baby boomers. Baby boomers do not trust advertising. So appealing to advertisers, or appealing to baby boomers through your imagery and through your text is very specific. There are things that they concentrate on, but there's things that you definitely do not want to do. For example, imagery like this that shows that a tablet and a cell phone is great for grandma. No, this image is made to be ironic. It's looked upon ironically, and therefore it can be offensive. That's not going to sell. This will not get you to get a grandmother to buy a cell phone or a tablet. The way you do that is through showing real life experiences and focusing on what is most important to them. And what is most important to the baby boomers? Customer service. Customer service is your biggest asset and your biggest selling point. So warranty, guarantees, quick email response, follow up, all of these types of things, letting them know ahead of time that we follow up or whatever it is that you're going to do to offer your customers the best customer service possible, letting them know that up front is going to give them a lot more trust in what you're trying to sell them. Look at this example here. I get tons of these a day. So I just copied this one. It says, hello, yes, the blah, blah, blah has arrived, and it says precisely what I expected. I thoroughly appreciate your service, which has been tremendously encouraging as our world continues to become more automated. Now, this is a baby boomer. It was a product that was meant for baby boomers, so I know that it was a baby boomer that bought it, and they're responding. They actually take the time to write me an email and thank me for not being part of the automated world. Little do they know it was an automated email. I kind of feel a little guilty for that. Okay, no, I don't. I feel really happy about the fact that they feel good about buying my product. So, they're going to recognize my brand. Next time, when they're ready to buy something, they're going to look at my brand and go, yeah, I trust that brand. I trust that brand because I bought from them before, and they followed up with me, and they offered me good customer service. So that's what you want to do. You want to make sure that you offer them good customer service and showing them in the light that is going to reflect how they want their life to be. Because your job is not to your job is not to sell. Your job is to solve problems. People come looking for products because they have a problem and they want that problem solved. Now, sometimes the problem is just that they need to buy a birthday gift for their granddaughter. That could be one problem. Another problem could be that, they have sore knees and need knee braces, whatever the case may be. There's a problem there, and you're the solution. You just have to let them know you are the solution. That's how you get people to buy. Not by selling, not by being ironic or funny or thinking you're appealing to everybody. Because in most cases, when you do that, you're appealing to no one. By trying to appeal to everybody, you're appealing to no one. So you go and you look at your listings and go, wow, I've got really great looking images and my text reads well, and this looks like an amazing listing. But what you've done is appeal to no one by trying to appeal to everybody, or you didn't try to appeal to anybody other than yourself. That is the biggest thing that people make when they're making this mistake, is they are trying to sell to themselves. They look at the product and they think, this is just amazing. Look at all the great benefits and features I have here. And they try to portray those features and benefits to the customer in such a way that the seller understands and that the seller can appreciate. And that does absolutely nothing for the buyer. You need to speak to the buyer in the voice that they need to hear. So how do you learn about how to speak properly to the buyers? Well, let's say that you're selling baby products. Go join some new mom forums. I don't care if you're a 50-year-old man or a 19-year-old girl. Go join some new mom forums like Cafe Mom. You can go in there and you read and you watch how the new moms communicate with each other. Look at the things that they complain about. Look at the things that make them happy. Look at the different aspects of their life and get into that tone. Find the tonality of the message that they're portraying to each other and put that in your imagery, in your text. And before you know it, it's going to look like it's magic that the sales just start taking off because you've learned how to communicate properly with your potential customers.
Okay, so that's it for the first mistake. If you do that one thing, just that one thing alone, you're going to see drastic differences in your sales. Now, I have two other big secrets coming for you. And these two other secrets are really going to put it all together and make it so that you can become one of the big dogs. All right, I'll see you in the next video.